You think you're in control because your dashboard shows green candles and your offshore accounts are bleeding with liquidity. But while you're calculating your ROI for the next quarter, the great architect of time, Saturn, has just opened a ledger that you didn't even know existed. Every corner cut, every ethical compromise, and every shadow you've buried under the foundation of your empire is being audited right now. Did you know that the most catastrophic corporate collapses in history don't align with market crashes, but with a precise 29-year karmic cycle? This is not astrology for the weak. This is the mathematics of consequence. When Saturn goes retrograde, it doesn't create new problems. It simply stops the music so you can finally hear the cracks in your own soul. The Lord of Karma isn't coming to take your money. He's coming to reclaim the integrity you traded for it. I know the weight on your shoulders. I see the 3:0 a.m. ceiling stairs where the silence feels heavier than a hostile takeover. You've built a fortress, yet you feel like a prisoner inside it. You're not running from the market. You're running from a version of yourself that you left behind in the pursuit of more. The pressure you feel right now, that crushing, suffocating grip on your chest, isn't stress. It's the gravity of Saturn demanding a structural integrity test. You are tired of wearing the mask of the invincible CEO while the internal audit reveals a deficit of peace. Welcome to Dharma Veins. If you are new here, you have been led to this frequency because your old operating system is about to crash. I am not here to give you motivation. I am here to provide a radical restructuring of your destiny. In the next 10 minutes, I will strip away the illusions of your ego and show you the Sunyata protocol, the only way to survive a karmic audit without losing your mind or your empire. I promise you, by the end of this transmission, the Saturnian debt that haunts you will either become your final collapse or the bedrock of your true enlightenment. Stay focused. The audit begins now. The weight you feel isn't the market volatility. It's the structural failure of a life built on a hollow core. Look at your empire. You've spent decades engineering a machine designed to conquer, yet you're the one being consumed by it. Saturn retrograde is not a cosmic punishment. It is a high-frequency vibration that shatters anything that isn't authentic. If your success was built on the silent tears of others, if your wealth was harvested from the soil of manipulation, then the Lord of Karma has arrived to balance the books. You can fire your CFO. You can hire the best crisis management team in the world. But you cannot bribe the law of cause and effect. The pressure is rising because the universe is demanding a debt that money cannot pay. It's demanding your truth. I see the burnout hidden behind the $5,000 suit. I know the feeling of being a god in the boardroom and a ghost at your own dinner table. You've achieved everything they told you to want, and yet There is an agonizing void that no acquisition can fill. You are terrified that if you stop running, the darkness will catch up. You think you're protecting your legacy, but you're actually just guarding a cemetery of your own dreams. The loneliness at the top isn't a badge of honor. It's a symptom of a severed connection to the source. You aren't failing as a leader. You are suffering because you've forgotten how to be a soul. This internal hemorrhage ends today. We are not going to patch the wound. We are going to perform a radical spiritual bypass. You need to understand that every crisis you face right now is a compassionate demolition. Saturn is tearing down the prison you mistook for a palace, so you can finally see the stars. We are moving from the anatomy of pain to the architecture of power. To survive this audit, you must stop fighting the symptoms and start rewiring the frequency of your intent. Prepare yourself, because we are about to enter the evidence stack, where the cold logic of science meets the absolute precision of Dharma. The clock is ticking, and the ledger is waiting for your next move. Listen closely, because your board of directors won't tell you. This modern quantum physics and the 2,500-year-old Heart Sutra are finally describing the same reality. What you call stress is actually a frequency mismatch between your distorted ego and the fundamental vibration of the universe. In the realm of quantum mechanics, we observe that solid matter is 99.99% empty space. This is the scientific echo of sunyata, or emptiness. When Saturn goes retrograde, the gravitational wave of this celestial giant acts as a high-pass filter. It creates a localized field where only high-integrity frequencies can maintain their structure. If your business model relies on the entropy of greed, you are literally fighting against the second law of thermodynamics. You are trying to build an infinite empire in a finite, entropic system without accounting for the karmic conservation of energy. You feel like the world is conspiring against you, but the data suggests otherwise. You are simply experiencing the observer effect on a karmic scale. Your internal state of lacking and fear is collapsing the wave function of your future into a series of crises. Action to exit this loop. You must shift from a survival frequency to a resonance frequency. In the Abhidhamma, this is known as the purification of siddha reprogramming, the very software of your consciousness. By aligning your intent with the universal ledger of non-attachment, you stop resisting the audit and start becoming the auditor of your own soul. Let me tell you about Robert, a private equity titan who faced his own Saturnian audit in the winter of 2023. On paper, he was untouchable. In reality, his life was a burning building. 3 federal investigations, a collapsing marriage, and a heart that was failing under the pressure of its own bitterness. He came to me not seeking God, but seeking a way to stop the bleeding. We didn't pray. we performed a structural realignment. Robert spent 48 hours in total darkness, stripped of his devices and his titles. He had to face the hungry ghost of his ambition, the part of him that thought he could outrun his own shadow. He realized that his success was a debt he had been borrowing from his children's peace and his own health. The realization didn't come as a whisper. It came as a roar of silence. He applied the Dharma protocol. He liquidated assets tied to unethical industries, not for tax breaks, but for frequency clearance. He apologized to the people he had stepped on, not for PR, but to close the energy leaks in his soul. Within 6 months, the federal charges were dropped due to unforeseen evidence. His health stabilized, and he launched a venture capital fund dedicated to regenerative technology. Robert didn't fix his problems. He outgrew them. He stopped trying to manipulate the shadow and became the light that made the shadow disappear. This is the power of the evidence stack. When you align with the truth aligns the world for you. The audit is over, and the verdict is clear. You cannot solve a frequency problem with a structural bandage. To survive the Saturnian shift, you must implement the Dharma, sovereign protocol, immediately. This is not a suggestion. It is the operating manual for your new reality. I know you are used to leading thousands, yet you struggle to lead your own breath. You've mastered the art of the deal, but you've lost the art of the still point. The chaos in your outer world is merely the echo of the static in your inner temple. Start tomorrow at the Amrit Vela, the hour of nectar, 4:00 a.m. Sit in absolute silence. Do not reach for your phone. Reach for your center. Practice the empty vessel breathing. Inhale the void for 4 seconds. Hold the stillness for 4. And exhale the ego for 8. In the boardroom, when the pressure spikes, use the Sunyata anchor. Visualize the entire conflict as a holographic projection, empty of inherent existence. Witness the anger, witness the greed, but do not own them. When you make a decision, ask yourself, does this generate light or shadow? If it's shadow, walk away, regardless of the profit. This is how you restructure your karmic debt. This is how you move from being a victim of Saturn to becoming a master of time. You are now standing at the threshold of a sacred covenant. Look at your hands. They are no longer just tools for accumulation. They are instruments of restoration. The path ahead will be lonely. Your old associates might not recognize this new version of you. They will call your peace weakness and your integrity naivety. But you will know the truth. You will feel a strength that doesn't need to shout, a wealth that cannot be stolen, and a clarity that pierces through the darkest market crash. Repeat this vow in the silence of your soul. I am no longer a slave to the illusion of control. I am a vessel for the Dharma. I trade my arrogance for awareness, my fear for frequency, and my greed for grace. As Saturn completes its retrograde, let it find you not in the ruins of your past, but in the foundation of your future. You are the architect. You are the auditor. You are the light. The debt is paid. The cycle is broken. Welcome home to the true empire of your spirit. This is the final vow. This is your rebirth. Go forth, not to conquer the world, but to heal it through the power of your own awakening. We are Dharma veins, and your journey has just begun.